Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and this one is a patch update video. Brand new video style, and we're doing it. It's the patch update. Patch update, patch update. This one is 0.9. Wow, look at that. And that's one of the features. I can now make a 9 with my hands. Although it doesn't quite look it. If I do it that way, it works better. There we go. Here we go. Patch update 0.9. Let's see what's in it. There is now a tutorial mode for people to learn the game. So you'll have this tutorial deck. You'll put it in the play tutorial deck slot. And then you'll have a guide taking you through with a very specific set of cards and a specific set of cards that the opponent will play that will teach you some of the basics of the game and hopefully get you up to speed with how to play this wonderful game. Now if you want to skip the tutorial, you can just go to the door and grab it like so, and then you'll leave the tutorial. There is also now the ability to play the Easy AI in the private room. So you can just come over to the table, drop your deck down, and you can play against the AI in private. Something else that's changed is that the cards and the font and the text and some of the layout has changed for a lot of different things. So you can see now there's a new font for the attack and health numbers of these cards. You can also see that the text on the actual card is slightly different. It's a little bit cleaner a text now. They've also moved the mana cost to the left hand side. They've also added the keywords of a creature, also telling you whether it's a creature or spell specifically just underneath it. So now when people are wondering what counts as an undead for the purpose of the guy that does damage when things die, let's find that guy, the corpse flinger. Now when a friendly undead creature dies, you can now just go through and see which ones are undead. So for example, you can go, oh look, this guy is undead. Before that was done as an icon, but now it's done as a really clear piece of text because a lot of people didn't have a clue what those icons were doing. And this font update applies absolutely everywhere, including if you go into a game, you'll see that your health and mana are also taking advantage of this new number system and the actual models in place. You can see this one is a lot clearer than it used to be. So there are some other changes to deck building too. Firstly, oh my gosh, the book is not a physics object. So you can now just move your hand through it. The reason why was because some people, silly people, were using the book to basically just stop people like playing a card or something like that. Obviously the best thing to do in that case is to report them. But they've added that now the book is not a physics object, which sucks, but it does say that it's a temporary fix, so hopefully there'll be a long-term solution for that problem. When it comes to deck building, what else has changed is you can see that now you can add a card, even better if it's an animated card, to your deck. So if I take out this deck called Balanced, I have no idea what's in here. We're going to go look for a card. What looks like a good card? What have we got in this deck? We have Dutiful Servant. So we're going to go to this Dutiful Servant, and on Index, I'm going to press the B button on either of my controllers while pointing at it, and that will put the card in place there. So then when I save, now you can see I have that on this card, which is quite fun because firstly, your decks look cooler, and it's nice to turn your wrist and look at them. It's a shame that it's kind of got, you can see that it is literally just a copy of the card pasted in. But it's still nicer than it was. And I guess it opens up a bit of a meme format where you can now use these as ways to communicate with people or make jokes. So we'll see how that develops. Maybe people will bring out the Arcane Experiment and say like, this card is OP is the name of your deck, and then you can just like wave this around for a good joke. What also has changed is that when someone has their deck out, now this scrolling is synchronized. So everyone can see what I'm scrolling and what I'm pointing at because it will be updated on their screen. Whereas before, if I scroll down the page to the bottom here and pointed at writing inside it to say, hey, look at this card, then someone would actually see me pointing to Call of the Old God because there was no way for another player to see that you had scrolled through to some different point in the list. Also, now when you're in a game, ignore the tutorial over there, if you play a card which you cannot legally play, for example, Writer's Recruitment costs 5 mana but only have 1, then it's going to give you a pop-up that tells you you don't have enough mana for it. And then if you just wait a bit, then it will go away. There is, of course, a bunch of other changes that are just like fixes, bugs. There was one where people were getting logged out when they changed room, so that's now fixed, which is great to see. They're really crucial because they are just like, they're just making the game experience bad, those kind of bugs. Whereas we've also seen a lot of features in this update too that are going to make the whole experience extra positive. One of the other changes is that now controllers are more supported. So I'm on index, which before, you could do, I don't think I can even recreate it. You could only half bend your finger. So if you look at my finger like this and then see, oh, there we go. That's like half bent. This was all you could do. But now if you, oh, how did I do that? Ah, there we go. So this was all you could do before. Whereas now you can do the full fist. So we can really go boxing with our competitors in the tavern when we get into a bit of a drunken brawl. So now there's more general support for other controllers, whereas before everything was pretty optimized towards the Quest controllers. So that's a nice addition to see. Also means that, oh, I haven't tested that one. Is there, oh my gosh, look at that. To some of you, this looks very normal, but being on index, we haven't been able to detach the menu ever. Oh wow, it really does just sit where it is. Okay. We haven't been able to do that. So we've just had to like hold it up at the time and like tweak it as we're going. Whereas now I can take it off, can go through, change these things without having to like juggle it on my arm and keep my arm steady at the same time to make sure I can push those buttons. So that's huge. If you're wondering what the secondary button is, that is the B button again on these controllers. So that's the button that's higher up out of the two. You have B at the top and then A below. So that's pretty huge. Wow, that's so good. Look at that. I can just admire. What a beautiful being. Wow. I can admire it with both my hands, whereas before I could only do this. So that's very cool. There's generally more controller support. So if you've noticed that you couldn't do some things before and other people could, you can probably do them now. But if you find any, then let the developers know, because I'm sure they will be interested in making sure that is available to everyone. One other random change is to Rich of Annihilation, which is a spell which when you play it, it appears on like just to the left of your deck, and it's really hard for the opponent to see how many turns are left on it, and it's a pretty important thing to know how many turns are left because it drops 20 damage on you. So now the number on that is bigger. And then the last thing is that there have been some card balance changes. So a lot of the text on the cards has changed and been updated because they have a character limit for the amount of text on a card now. And also along with that, they have balanced some cards. I will go through those changes in another video, what I think of them, how they're going to change the way people will play, and what I predict will change the format. So I'll cover that in a separate video, which you'll be able to see linked in the description of this video when that video is out. Or if you subscribe and like the video, well, you don't have to like, but if you subscribe, then you'll be able to see updates from me. So make sure you subscribe and also hit the bell so you find out when that video is out. One of such changes is, for example, the Gunhaunt. Now you don't have to take 2 damage when you activate his ability. So pretty big change, and may make Gunhaunt a little bit more competitive in a very Lich and Zarathrix only meta. So that's exciting to see. And that's all of that. That's all the changes for this one. So let me know what you think. What are cool changes that you're excited to see? Are you an index user too and excited that you can finally go toe to toe with your enemies? Outside of card games, when they get a high roll of cards and you can go, all right, let's settle this properly. Because I'm pretty excited for that. So let me know what you think of the update, and see you guys in game. See you around.